All sorts of things going on in the city of Providence, and crack reporter Dan McGowan's here to lay it all out for us.
The Dan Yorke State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
Great to have you aboard. Thanks very much for tuning in on this, what is tonight? Oh, it's Thursday. Time flies when it's the holiday season and you're trying to keep track. Greetings. We have a lot to do tonight. Dan McGowan is in the house. There's some things going on in the city of Providence which are interesting, including some really important education matters and this notion that, well, we have a hate crime hotline now. Mayor Elorza playing the role of victim saver. It's getting nauseating. We'll talk more about it. In the meantime, let's get to the headlines. And Donald Trump is, well, Donald Trump is Donald Trump. It's going to be a daily thing, right? Here's the headline. And this all stems from the carrier deal. And, you know, the campaign promises that he was going to save all the jobs in Indiana. It turns out that, you know, half the jobs are going to be saved. Turns out maybe not even half the jobs. Here's the latest from CBS.
President-elect Donald Trump slammed Carrier's Indiana union leader on Twitter. Mr. Trump announced a deal last week at the plant that would save jobs from being outsourced to Mexico.
Actually, the number is over 1,100 people, which is so great,
But Chuck Jones, the head of the union at the plant, says 550 jobs are still being sent to Mexico, and 350 of the jobs weren't saved because they were never at risk.
If you're dealing with people's livelihoods, you sure as the world ought to know what the numbers are.
Trump responded saying Jones has done a horrible job representing workers, and if the union was any good, they would have saved those jobs. The Twitter messages may be overshadowing the announcement of the president-elect's pick to head the Environmental Protection Agency. The president-elect picked Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt. Pruitt helped lead the charge against President Obama's climate change policies, and he describes himself on LinkedIn as a leading advocate against the EPA's activist agenda.
I think the greatest impediment we have in the country today as far as economic growth is not tax policy. It's regulatory policy.
The Sierra Club is opposing his nomination, saying having Pruitt in charge is like putting an arsonist in charge of fighting fires.
There's kind of a random nature to these appointments, no doubt, but let's put these tweets up one more time. I want you to really read this. This is the president-elect, soon to be the president of the United States of America. If United Steelworkers 99 was any good, they would have kept those jobs in Indiana. Spend more time working, less time talking, reduce the dues. And then he goes after this gentleman, Chuck Jones. He's done a terrible job representing workers. No wonder companies flee the country. That is a dangerous and random attack on an individual union member. And far be it from me to be somebody who knee-jerks on the labor matter. But it is unbelievable that Donald Trump now is in a mode where anybody that disagrees with him or, you know, pares down the high drama of his game-saving behavior is going to get whacked on a Twitter account. I mean, those of you on a city council, listen, don't do anything in Burrillville and don't mention the Trump, presidency, because you're going to get whacked from his Twitter account. You know, it's next. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Okay, it's good to admit mistakes. Right? Let's take a look and see what we're admitting to now. Front page of the Journal today, Raimondo Layoffs a clear mistake. Well, this is all about the UHIP deal. This is the monster software program, $350+ million in cost to us, the taxpayers, we, the taxpayers. And it's designed to be a one-stop shop for everything that is, I don't know, chewing on the trough of government, some legitimate, some illegitimate. Your Obamacare health exchange stuff coordinates on this, and then your food stamp benefits coordinate on this, and this is kind of a philosophy without the right kind of programming. And then they went ahead and yanked some 36 employees because, hey, they automated. And the governor kind of spit up on radio on WPRO yesterday, and then in ensuing scrums with the press that maybe they messed up.
Underestimated how much people power we would need with the new technology, and I think it also shows that the team, probably made a mistake in not doing this sooner.
You know, I don't think the Raimondo administration has any kind of ear for the way they ought to be doing business at all. I really don't. First of all, if you read the story in the paper today, the administration members who she kind of called out kind of disagree that they actually did this thing on protocol. Nobody's on the same page. If the governor wants to admit a mistake on a $365 million program, she should be calling a formal press conference with the heads of bureaucracy, administration, contractors, all of that, to explain soup to nuts what they thought they were going to be able to do, what they did, what they didn't accomplish, what the mistakes are, what they've identified the problems to be, how they're going to correct them, flying by the seat of your pants on a radio show and in the parking lot somewhere saying, hey, you know what, we may have misfired on this a little bit, is absolute government incompetence. And somebody in that administration better figure out that if they don't start running the railroad, she has no prayer for re-election, and we have no prayer to turn this state around, or as she would say, move it forward without the R. Meanwhile, the guy who's really running the whole show out of the House of Representatives really ought to take an accounting of what just happened in this election. We've talked about it a lot. Nick Mattiello, the Speaker of the House in District 15, was able to eke out an 84-vote victory. As the headline reads here, it's $271,000 victory. That's how much money Nick Mattiello in total resources invested in getting reelected in a district of what, 10, 12,000 people, whatever it is. He beat that guy by 84 votes, spent 7 times more than Steve Frias, the Republican, did. This will be a guiding message, I hope, to Nick Mattiello, to be thinking pretty clearly about some of the things that people out there are upset about, including but not limited to the truck tolls. I know he's committed to the truck tolls because he revised the governor's deal on that, but truth be told, he is just one election away from being blown out of the water. He thinks it was a one-time anomaly. Not so. I think he's done a lot of good things fiscally for this state, but he better step on the pedal and hold the governor accountable and show some leadership because she's not. All right. In the meantime, we should talk about the city of Providence. There are a lot of things going on. There's probably 3 subject matters that I think are of utmost importance tonight. The education thing certainly is one of them, and Providence has been told by the new education commissioner. Is it right to call him new still, Danny? I don't know. He's
2 years in now,
2 years,
a year and a half
years,
in, yeah.
No? That they better accept the idea that charter schools are here to stay, and Achievement First, the major program in the city, is going to grow, whether you like it or not, correct?
Right. Well, that's what the whole debate is right now. If you look at what Achievement First wants to do, currently they run 2 relatively small elementary schools in the city. We're talking about 720-ish students right now. They're approved to go up to 900 for next year, but they want to grow to 3,000. They want to serve their kids through elementary school to middle school to high school, so kind of have continuity all the way. And there's general consensus from the mayor, from all the mayors that send students to this school. There are 4 of them: Warwick, North Providence, Cranston, and of course mostly Providence. Generally, everyone on the Board of Education agrees they're fine with doing the 2 elementary schools, a middle school, and a high school. But what is being proposed right now is an extra expansion. It's about 1,000 extra students. That brings it to that 3,100. That's where the mayor of Providence is kind of saying, I'm concerned about how much this is going to cost. This, city could end up losing out on, what they're saying is potentially between $29 and $35 million a year. And so that's what the sort of crux of the debate is. But it's almost certain that it's going to get approved. The commissioner has come out and endorsed that expansion. The board will likely approve it on December 20th.
And the additional 1,000 students come from where?
Generally from Providence. They would be kids that would be coming from, would ordinarily be going to the traditional public schools, although not all of them. I mean, some of them could go to other charter schools, things like that. But in theory, they're students largely from Providence who would, if they didn't have another choice, would probably go to the Providence public schools.
The people who argue against this blame the follow the money formula.
That's right.
Which is that there's an assessed dollar amount on each student's head, so to speak, figuratively. And when that student moves from the traditional public school to the charter school, that money goes with them.
That's right.
And that creates kind of a vacuum of funding in the traditional public schools.
Right.
Even Dan McKee, who I think has been, almost a hero in this whole charter school environment, he's not involved with Achievement First. They're not under the Mayoral Academy.
They are a Mayoral Academy, but it's not. So yes, they're under the Rhode Island Mayoral Academies, but he's not on that board because this is Providence.
Right. But even he has had to admit that adjustments need to be made as we grow into this charter school phenom. It really is a legitimate question to be asked and to be answered. Does the commissioner have a solution for this?
No, and I talked to the governor, Governor Raimondo, on Monday, I believe, about this earlier this week, and asked her, are we going to see some sort of adjustment to the funding formula again, right? Because they just did one in the last legislative session. She said there's no chance. It's not going to happen. We think we adjusted the funding formula a little bit. So when you talk about money following the child, prior to this current year, it was every dollar of per pupil funding went from the kid wherever they went to school. So, let's say if it's a $17,000 for your kid, whether they went to the traditional public schools or a charter school, that money all went. Now it's been adjusted a little bit because of they allow districts to basically hold on to what they call money for fixed costs, so building issues, stuff like that. So it's been adjusted already, and what the commissioner says is he thinks it's good enough right now, and he thinks moving the ball forward on being able to educate in a pretty good environment, 3,000 kids in Providence, that moves the ball forward a little bit.
The opposition also says, well, these are better parents.
Right.
These are better parents because they put them into the lotteries. The commissioner would say, well, the choice is actually right there on the enrollment form.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, there's I think a legitimate conversation to be had about the finances. That is a factor because, again, if we say, let's just use a random number, $10,000 per student, let's be honest, there's not $10,000 that are just going right to a child's education in the traditional public schools, right? You have to pay pension costs, you have to pay for building, overhead, all those things. Because it's a lot more nimble at the charter schools, that $10,000 is going a lot farther for the individual kid than it would in that traditional public schools. That's a real problem for districts. The problem is, on the flip side, is these schools are performing very well. I mean, that Achievement First in their first go around for the park in third grade, the 4th highest performing on math in the entire state. They're beating Barrington, they're beating East Greenwich. It's pretty impressive.
Yes.
In Providence.
And what's interesting is the political cowardice outside Providence, where mayors in Cranston and Warwick specifically are pulling out of Mayoral Academy agreements.
Although they've backed off a little bit, so Mayor Avedisian kind of says, I'm on board with whatever the Mayor of Providence wants because the majority of kids are going to Achievement First from Providence. I'll support what he wants, which right now he says he wants that K through 12 program. A little concerned about the 1,000 extra students. Mayor Fung says...
Well, how many of those are going to come from Warwick and Cranston?
It would be a handful. I think out of 3,000, so that bigger expansion, I believe Cranston, Maryland Fung has said potentially like 80 more students from Cranston.
What you need to understand, folks, about this is that these schools actually, super serve multi-districts.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and because there's not enough charters to go around.
That's right.
All right, interesting. When we come back, if you feel like you're being picked on, hateful type of stuff, you got a hotline now. Stay with us. Mayor Elorza, no stranger to anybody. And if you feel like you've been victimized by anything going on in society today, he's your hero. I really don't get this. Take a look at the headline. Dan wrote a story here. Mayor Elorza launches hate crime hotline in Providence. You dialed the hotline. Somebody does answer.
I did. It goes to
what do they say?
They say hello, Providence hate crime hotline. It's basically it goes to their.
How's your hate going?
It goes to their dispatch service basically, and so it's just like calling 911 essentially. If you've got a real problem, an immediate problem, then you get forwarded onto the police department. If you've got if your neighbor said something mean about you or something like that, you get basically forwarded to like the mayor's center of city services. So it's just another version of 911.
All right, I'm missing something here. The city's teetering on financial disaster, correct?
They definitely have some problems.
We're now going to find employees who have the time to sit there and listen to neighbor disputes and all sorts of other things.
So
that are
I
going
asked
on
this.
out there.
I asked this exact question because I said it doesn't seem like, given the if you look up the statistics, they suggest that we're talking hate crimes generally are in the teens in Providence every year. In fact, I think 3 years ago there was only one reported in the whole city. Now you could say they're not necessarily always reported. I get all that, but so I asked that question. I said, "Come on, like, do you can we really afford this?" And they said because it's going through right to the normal like dispatch line that you would call if you're calling city government. There's no one extra coming on. The mayor already has a neighborhood services office which will handle this and gets lots of calls for any of your random issues in the city.
The services office is, do they project, by the way, what kind of traffic they're going to have to this hotline?
No, but I will make sure that I come on in 6 months and we'll go over the numbers.
Well, I'm sure you'll be on before 6 months, that's for sure. But I mean, it is the smoke and mirrors. I'm so sorry that you're so stressed. Campaign that Mayor Elorza has been running here since Donald Trump was elected is embarrassingly obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think he hides from the fact that this is something that is he's very clear about what he's trying to do. He's made no bones about the fact that it's post-election.
To keep everybody feeling like a victim so he can look like the hero? Is that what he's trying to do?
I think there's a part of it
if he would just admit that, I think I'd have more respect for him.
I think politically he knows that it looks good for the people who support him. I think certainly it always looks good if the mayor can say, I'm standing up for the residents, and particularly among, I think, in a very liberal city, particularly on the east side, particularly among minority groups. This is one of those things that is it's a very simple way of reaching out. If you look at some of the things that he's done, and he does these announcements every week they're very, very low key, Muslim panel, things like that.
Somebody sent a letter to a mosque.
Right.
Somebody sent a letter to a mosque.
Right.
And now we have a hotline.
That's right.
Does he think about the marketing of the city of Providence? But every time we do this, the quality of life here is oh so victimized. Oh, the quality of life here is oh so dangerous. Oh, the quality of life here is oh so fill in the blank. The people who are thinking of investing in the city of Providence might say,
I will say I would highly doubt, it's hard for me to say for sure, but I would highly doubt that factors into it at all.
Which is why nothing's going on.
Right.
We don't have a rate card for the 195 redevelopment land, do we?
Right. No, we don't.
No, we have one guy, he wants to develop 3 towers.
Right.
He just scaled it back to
1
tower.
Yeah.
2 towers to come, maybe. I don't know what his deal is. Who knows? We don't have a city council that's reactive
I think
and
there's
proactive
a lot
with
of
economics. We have a mayor who's got fingers in dikes and who's playing the "I'm not Donald Trump, re-elect me" card. Where's the progress?
Right. Well, and
Where's
I think
the vision?
I think what he's doing certainly is appealing to the people who he thinks will get him there, in 2018, get him reelected. But you're right. I mean, it does send, if you're a developer who hears about maybe a great opportunity on the 195 land, the first thing you're going to do is Google the city, right? And so you see things like the worry of bankruptcy potentially. You see, is there really a lot of hate crimes in Providence? It seems like that wouldn't be the case. So maybe you're right. Maybe you do get concerned about it. I'm not sure how much of an impact that does have on development, but to your point, we're not seeing a lot of it.
I don't have the data either way, but I mean, it's not even a mountain out of a molehill. It's creating an environment where he can look like a hero,
right.
and it's what happens all too often in minority politics. I don't know. It's crazy. When we come back, constructive solutions to big financial challenges like the Firefighter Deal, not yet done. Dan will tell us when we come back. I've kind of lost count with Dan on our discussions about the Firefighter Deal. When the mayor decided he was going to change their shifts to save some money, they said, no, you're not. Litigation pending through the Supreme Court, Now we've had a brokered settlement, sort of.
Yeah.
And nothing's happened since we learned that there was a semi-brokered settlement.
We've had there's been a couple of City Council Finance Committee meetings. The chairman of the committee, Councilman Igliozzi, has been fairly critical of the alleged savings in the deal. The mayor's office initially said it was around $15 million. He thinks it was closer to 10. The mayor's office came back.
15 million
over the course of 5 years. Right. He thought it was closer to 10. The mayor's office came back and said actually it's closer to 20. And they've been squabbling basically back and forth. But the issue is that, you know, if you can't get it past the finance committee, you're not getting it to the full council. They've scheduled a public hearing. It appears to be moving, but they were supposed to have this contract in place and have the shift change go back to the 4 platoons December 1st, and they moved that back a little bit to November 12th, excuse me. And now we're not looking at first passage by the full council. The earliest potentially would be early January.
So if you followed that, I mean, the mayor moved them from 4 platoons to 3 platoons, meaning 4 shifts to 3 shifts, money savings.
Yep.
Firefighters went nuts. A lot of them retired, lawsuit, the whole bit. Now he wants to roll it back, but until they get a finance deal, they can't roll it back.
That's right.
And the dangling participle that I don't think is such a participle is what are they going to do in terms of the retroactive money that the firefighters have been due this entire time, because he scoshed out a little, what was it, 8%, 9% raise?
Yeah, 8% raise, yep.
And there's no doubt that number doesn't work.
Right, and the longer you have, you know,
interest.
Yeah, it keeps going and going, yeah. And that's the key part of this.
And it's not going to be a few $100,000, it's going to be a
no,
huge
we're talking
lump
millions of
sum.
dollars. Yeah, and even on the mayor's side, this is not a debate over if we win, they'll get nothing. They acknowledge it's going to be millions of dollars. The question is it going to be low millions of dollars, 2, 3, 4, and that would have to come through a settlement most likely, or is it going to be something much more significant, which leads you to that potential concern of, you know, how can the city write a check for $10 million? It can't.
So she's stringing out the firefighters, actually a tactical benefit. You know, the firefighters have got to hedge their bets. There's a number that they want that could put the city into bankruptcy, which then gets them nothing.
Right.
So I mean, it's that. But I mean, somewhere along the line, they got to get this thing done.
That's right.
Like yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that negotiation continues. It's been stalled a little bit. The settlement talks there has been stalled a little bit by this contract situation. And in fairness to the city council, while sometimes they do sort of just like to hear themselves talk, their job is to vet the contract and to put their names on it, and they say they have real concerns about the alleged cost savings. So,
by the way, I mentioned something at the top. I need your good government brain on this. Am I whack to suggest that the governor making a nonchalant statement over a news cycle that, you know, we fired 3 dozen too many people for a $350 million biggest software investment the state's ever had? Doesn't that require a little bit more diligence and response?
It's pretty surprising from the governor, who I think is normally, you know, she's got at least sort of a pretty good tactical brain to just kind of offer sort of flippant remarks on the radio and then on TV. I was surprised to hear her admitting a mistake in that way, I guess.
Analyst, commentator, journalist. Different approaches.
The more I come on, the more I sound like a politician. I always think that.
Nice, kiddo. Appreciate it. Final word and we come back. Stay with us. Alrighty, I have to tell you, between Donald Trump flying off the handle at everybody and Governor Raimondo not doing any kind of diligence on $350 million problems, and Mayor Elorza trying to be a hero when it comes to not being Trump, it's not that I'm down on every elected official. It's just that right now, this is good. Hey, the market's through the roof. Just keep focusing on that and just keep thinking about the holidays, because something tells me that this is going to get bumpy. I'll see you tomorrow on the radio at 3 on WPRO and back here tomorrow night. Thanks for watching.